Today we're going to be unboxing Chitu Systems E1 Filament Dryer. Now this is a 4-spool modular dryer. I'll show you what I mean by modular later, but it's quite cool, if you can say that about something that dries filament. Chitu were nice enough to send this one out to me for review. I personally think they've just watched some of my videos with wood PLA and thought, let's give this kid a dryer. In the box there you get a nice beefy manual, and this is going to cover all of those LCD screens, but we'll talk about that as we run through the setup in just a minute. So inside the box, there's not actually much assembly that you need to do. This thing is basically already assembled together as it comes. You just need to hoist it out of the box and take the plastic off. So those dual chambers there come out first, and they separate from the bottom, which is the brains of the operation and contains all the heating elements and stuff like that. The base comes with a 3.5-inch resistive touchscreen already attached to it. And there's a bunch of safety features embedded like pressure switches, so when you remove one of these modular containers, it stops pumping out heat. I mentioned that Chitu sent this over to me, but I can see these regularly going on Amazon for about £104. Now I do a lot of printing with my channel, but it's up to you to decide if that is the deal for you. I've seen quite a few single filament dryers on AliExpress and things for about £50 if they're touchscreen. So if you dry one thing in a blue moon, then maybe that might be for you. But this seems to be quite an advanced piece of kit for a more power user, let's say. But the nice thing about these boxes is that they can also stack, and you can store your filament in there for long-term storage to keep them dry. Down in those little vents there is the little silica desiccant packs. So that's there to help absorb some of that moisture. You should also take this tape off these rollers here if you want your filament spool to spin freely inside the box. The fit and finish of the whole product is quite nice, to be honest. I mentioned that these boxes here were stackable, and they sell those on Amazon separately for £35 a box. So if you do a lot of drying and you want to stack these boxes, then that could be a good option. That's the modularity aspect of this. On the front here are some little rubber seals, and that is where you can actually insert the PTFE and then feed the filament through, so you can use it on your AMS light, like a Bamboo Lab AMS light, or connect it straight into your printer like you're going to see me do later. Now regarding the touchscreen being a resistive one, that is just my only small gripe with this. I would have liked a capacitive one, but at this price point I completely understand why. It just means your finger has to get up in there a little bit more with those inputs to make them accurate. However, that is a really small gripe, and you're not going to be typing essays on this thing, so the screen is fine for what it does. Let's get it plugged in and powered on, and then I can run you through these setup menus. So I'm going to choose English here because I don't speak Chinese, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and select Next. And that's the setup. Thanks for bearing with me through that extremely lengthy process. Now let me show you what all these buttons on this display do. The top two here are switching between the chambers. So there's chamber 1, which is nearest to me now, and chamber 2, which is the further away. The two chambers can obviously be running at different settings and hours. This one down here is to do with the temperature of the chamber that you want it to achieve. It's currently set to Fahrenheit, and I hope there's a way to change that. Down below the temperature check is the current humidity inside the box. So that's the number we really want to be looking at and aiming for a specific figure. Going through the other settings on the left, you'll see this one here is presets, so you can make presets based on if you're printing ASA, PLA, everything that requires a different drying regimen. You can have up to 4 presets, which is nice, so I can have PLA, PETG and TPU, which are the things that I'm most likely to print in. On the settings here, fortunately we found a way to turn it from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and there's some other settings in here like the intelligent control settings, and there's also firmware update settings. The filament box automatic identification, I'd recommend you leave that on. It already comes defaulted on. Automatic drying is something that you'll just have to play around with and find out if you want it on or not. I don't leave this box turned on while I'm away, so I leave it off. But it's a good choice if you want your printer to constantly be ready for you. Now we're going to go back to the first control screen, and we're going to try and dry some wood PLA. I've set it up for 8 hours, and I'm going to set the temperature to 50 degrees centigrade. The filament I use usually isn't that wet, so I think 8 hours might be a little bit overkill at this temperature, but we'll monitor. I want to try and get it under 20%, there or thereabouts. I'm using for this the JO 3D printing filament, which is from AliExpress, and this is their real wood filament. I buy this stuff because for me it's the cheapest that I can find, and it's 1.1 kilogram spools, so really cost effective. Buying 5 rolls at 1.1 each is obviously 5.5 kilograms, so you get that extra bit, which is what helps me sleep better at night. I'm not sponsored by JO in any way, but if you're after some new filament and want to try, then I've got an affiliate link down in the description. Okay, so now I'm going to press start on this. It's going for 8 hours like I said, but I'm probably going to stop it way before. It's almost winter here in the UK, so humidity is not even at its highest, and this has just come straight out of the bag with the desiccant. Biggest factor for me is probably leaving it on my AMS spool to absorb moisture. And that's why I'm just going to quickly show you this, which is how you can use it with the AMS. If you insert this PTFE, which is included, into that rubber grommet there, this will stop your filament from getting caught and destroying that rubber grommet. It's not specifically for air tightness. I will also just mention the fan noise is audible while it's on, so you might not want this going while you're sleeping. But it does have the silent mode, which should reduce the noise, but it should also reduce the speed at which it can dry. Now that I'm happy that the humidity inside the box is less than 20%, I'm going to take it off and show you how you can load it from here into your printer. Now I left this little hole here open so it could ventilate while it was heating, but now I'm going to close that off to prevent any moisture from getting back in. This will be now set up for a longer storage, but we're not after that, we're after printing with this straight from here. So I'm going to open this up on the other side. There's a grommet. This is the one that I showed you before, and it just has the one hole for this PTFE tube. So I can slowly feed that through there. Now my filament spool will be rolling on those rollers. They aren't powered by anything. The extruder head is going to do all of the pulling. So I want it sticking out just like that. Since this is PLA, I'm not really that bothered about fully PTFEing the whole thing. But some materials like TPU and ABS could probably do with the full tubing all the way into the printer. This would be the same process if you were using the Bamboo Lab AMS Lite or something like that. I forgot to lock the lid down. Yeah, you can have two of these boxes, so you can have one either side, supplying all four of the AMS Lite slots. I'm just demonstrating here on my P2S because it's much easier to get to and record. Plus also, it's just the wood PLA that I really struggle with getting dry. It's a very interesting device though if you can use all four of the slots, or if you need that extra storage and need more boxes. The boxes are a little bit costly, but I really don't know another system where you can do this much modularity with. And now I'll show you what the results look like. This is a before, so I've swapped rooms here just so you can see a little bit better with this lighting. And I did have to use my AMS here because this one is a multicoloured print. But you can see on this undried one that's been sitting on my spool for a little bit that the stringing is unbelievable. And then when we compare it to one that did a few hours in the E1 filament dryer, it's absolutely night and day. And not to mention that this barrel all goes together with a 10mm rod down the centre. Now the ones that I didn't dry don't actually fit on the 10mm rod because they've shrunk so much when they've lost moisture. Not drying isn't just about aesthetics, it's also about functionality of the print, which is something that I really didn't pay enough attention to. I always just kind of thought the stringing was aesthetic and I can just flick it off and move on. However, you run a great risk of having a bad time if you don't dry your filament. That's just a well-learned life lesson regardless of what product you end up going with. But needless to say, I really like this Chitu E1 filament dryer. And as their first foray into the filament drying space, I think it's a really solid product that they've made. I often get people trying to send me things, but I really did bite their hand off for this one, because it's a cool looking product and the fact that you can dry and stack just seemed really sensible to me. So you can find out more about this on their website, chitusystems.com, or I'll have a link down below in the description box that'll be to an Amazon page. If you've enjoyed this video, then give a thumbs up or subscribe. I'm going to go dry the rest of my filaments now. It's a bit of a shame I can't shove my entire house into one of these boxes.